Hello there. Now, today I'm going to be talking about something very interesting. I'm going to do like a small review. I wouldn't really call it a review, but just explaining why this cube right here, the RS3M 2020, is such a popular cube. Now, for starters, the RS3M has a lot of things going for it. Mainly, the price. The price of this cube, on the cubicle.us at least, is just $9, which is insane for a cube of this performance. Now, the price, as mentioned before, is pretty much the biggest thing that the RS3M has going for it. Despite having such a low price tag, the performance is amazing. Now, just turning the cube, you can hear that it is quite clacky. It doesn't sound premium. It doesn't feel very premium either. The corner cutting, which is part of the performance, is great for a cube of this price. Like if you see there, 45 degrees, easy cut. Over 45 degrees, still an easy cut. So the performance of this cube really doesn't let it down, which is why I think that it's so popular, because the value is great. And everyone knows that cubers love value. Now, of course, the performance of this cube couldn't be up to the standards of a high-end cube like the GAN 356M, which is my most expensive cube. My collection isn't very big, but this cube, just turning it, it sounds premium, it feels premium, it just feels like a very premium cube, which is what GAN does. They're the most premium cubing brand on the market. But this RS3M somehow manages to match up with the performance of this $30 cube, despite being $9, and that's where the value comes in. So today, I'm just going to be looking over this cube and seeing what makes it so special. Alright, let's go. So what you're seeing now is just me doing some practice solves with the cube, and I average around 21 seconds, maybe 20 or 19 seconds on a good day, but usually 21 seconds. But as you can see in the solves that I'm playing, I got a couple of 18 and 17 second solves, which is below my average. So I got below my average times with a $9 cube as opposed to using a $30 cube, that being the GAN 356M. Which just proves that this cube can match the performance of a $30 cube, which is insane. So after using the RS3M for a bit, I did realize that one thing was for sure. This cube is so forgiving. You can mess up so much thanks to the good corner cutting, and it really does help while you're turning. So I guess we can say that Moyu did a great job on this cube, and it definitely is worth getting, because I think that's the big question that everyone asks when they see a new cube, especially if it's budget. Should I get it? And most of the time the answer is, if you want to, but with this cube, the Moyu RS3M, I definitely say that you should get it. Now, I think that this cube, since its release, has really become the gold standard for budget cubes. And I definitely think that it deserves to be the most popular cube on the market. It definitely has earned that spot, and Moyu has done a great job on this one. I just wanted to take a look at how the cube performs up close, as opposed to doing solves. So, the corner cutting is definitely good, as I realized doing those solves. So the 45 degree cut, which is the standard, comes easily. Over 45 degrees, it is still doable. I think it stops at around 2 pieces. The corner cutting stops at around 2 pieces, which is great. That's amazing corner cutting. And it really allows for you to not really care how you turn while doing your solve. Another thing that this cube does really well is the customizability. Now, so if we look inside the cube, if we just take off a center cap, we can see there is a traditional screw, but there's also this blue piece of plastic on the outside. If you don't know what the tensioning of the cube is, it's basically how tight the cube feels. The screw for a cube adjusts how far the cube can flex, how far it can flex, but the tensioning at just how easily it flexes apart. And in the box, the cube does come with this tiny little blue tool, which allows to change the tensioning of the cube. So these two little notches on the blue tool just rest between the two gaps of the blue piece of plastic that change the tensioning. So just rest in there, and then you can turn, and you'll hear the clicks as it goes tighter in the tensioning, and then eventually you'll hear a big click and it goes back to the loosest tensioning. I personally like to have my tensioning on setting number 4. This is around the middle, as I believe that there are 8 tensioning modes, which allows for it to be flexible but not too elastic, if that makes any sense. Now this isn't very vital for the cube, but if you do take out a piece and then look at the corner pieces, you will see that the corner pieces, the stems are very thin. This allows for less friction on the cube, which allows for it to glide smoother, allows for it to turn more smoothly. And there's also these tiny little grooves on the cube, which also allow for less friction, allowing it to turn more smoothly, and also let lube that you put in the cube travel around the cube. So combined with the low price tag, the great performance, the good corner cutting, and the customizability, this cube amounts to an amazing cube that really has become one of the best cubes on the market. Now my final verdict on the cube. First of all, is it worth it? I think I've already made it abundantly clear that this cube is most definitely worth the $9. But also, just generally, is it a good cube? And yes, it's an amazing cube. And I don't know what to say to you if you haven't realized that I've been trying to say that this cube is a great cube. So yeah, there it is. That is what I think of the RS3M 2020 by Moyu. Moyu, if you're watching this, I think you've done a great job on this cube, and I really do enjoy this cube. But the only negative thing I have to say about this cube, which I did hint in the beginning of the video, is that there's not much special about it. It's a good cube, great performance, but it doesn't feel different. Now I have been comparing this cube to the GAN 356M, which is my main, and this cube, it's a GAN cube, so it's smooth, it's premium, it just feels good to turn, and it comes with a great performance as well. But if I were to compare this with another budget cube, and this is a somewhat lesser known budget cube, this is the Sheng Solar S3M Plus. And this cube, it's hard to describe because the performance is lacking. It's pretty much the opposite of the RS3M 2020. The performance is not the best, the corner cutting has room to improve, but the feel is unique. The feel is different to anything that I've felt before. And despite me not having a very large collection, I do like the feel of this cube, and I don't think there is much like it on the market. So if you're looking for great performance, but don't really care about the feel of the cube, go for the RS3M. But if you're not looking for good performance, and you're just looking for something unique, I'd say go for something like the Sheng, or if you have a larger budget, go for the X-Man Tornado V2M, because that's also a great cube. But yeah, that's it. See you next time.